Just do that. Hello. No, that's that's my normal voice. Like this morning. This morning I talk like a sleep deprived detective or something. I think it's not too far from the truth. I just woke up, right? Yeah. Today, right tonight, we're gonna watch some of this because I don't really have I don't really like get to watch these on stream that often because I watch them off stream. I think I watched one or two video on stream. It's this one and this one. I watched this one. This one is crazy. I also watch this one. This one is this one is super bad. I haven't watched this one surprisingly about Cinder, which is like a big deal in a VTuber world. So we're gonna watch this one. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. It's gonna make for some fine highlight. I haven't even finished the highlight from the other recording like last week. I'm just making a backlog, honestly. There's gonna be some environmental sound in the background because I live in like a weird house. It's the few houses that actually have trees and made out of wood, and it's very humid. So there's like a lot of bugs and insects making noises. Sometimes I can't even sleep because how loud they are. They're not as loud as the kitchen area. Uh, Compared to the kitchen area, this is relatively quiet. But let's watch this.
There was a time.
Okay, should be watching full stream. So full screen. It's just gonna fill the whole screen, right? Man, I need a new overlay. This is kind of outdated. Yeah, watching 1080p. Okay, what did she say?
There was a time, not that long ago, when this group of indie VTubers felt like the beating heart of the scene. Cozy, chaotic, ridiculously talented. There were some of the biggest names in indie VTubing. Bao, Shy
Quiet.
Lily, Vienna, Yuzu, Trickyui,
Hey,
Nimue,
I know Vienna and Bao.
Clotilde and, of
Shy
course,
Lily.
at the center of it all, Cinder. These weren't just popular streamers, they were huge, and they were known to fans as the Girly Pops, a tight-knit group of indie VTubers known for their chemistry, energy, and ride-or-die friendships. They shared emotional moments together, collaborated on music videos, supported each other's debut, and met up at conventions IRL. To fans and even to themselves, this felt like the ultimate friend group. But behind the scenes, something darker was slowly unraveling. Cinder was one of the biggest indie VTubers out there. Cool, chaotic, metal-loving, and iconic for her hellhound aesthetic. But as it turns out, behind the flames was something far colder. Because while everybody else was focused on creating content, building friendships, and cheering each
We're
other
just
on,
standing there.
Cinder was quietly sabotaging other VTubers' projects, blacklisting her own friends, and manipulating the artists at the center of their community to cut off future commissions from people she didn't like. This is the full timeline. Every document, every message, every betrayal that took the internet's favorite VTuber friend group and tore it apart. This is the story of how Cinder, a beloved VTuber, set her own reputation on fire and became the Regina George of VTubing.
I don't get that reference. I'm too young to know that.
On April
I
25,
don't watch much movie.
2025, the cracks in Cinder's reputation shattered completely. Nanoless, one of the most well-known and respected VTuber model artists in the community, released a 5,000-word Google document
5,000
that
words.
changed everything. What she revealed
not much,
was more
actually.
than just behind-the-scenes drama. It was a methodical breakdown of how Cinder and her then manager, Red, aka Redacted, spent years manipulating her, trying to
Redacted.
control who she worked with, guilt-tripping her into silence, and even pushing her to sabotage her own clients. I struggled a lot with writing this document, she writes, and wasn't sure if what I felt and experienced working was real or just burnout. But I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working with Cinder. Based on her experience working with Redacted and Cinder over the years, she's sure that they speak for each other. There's no reason to believe Red was acting without Cinder's consent or knowledge, she goes on. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team. The document begins with allegations that Red and Cinder were bad-mouthing other creators and spreading false rumors. Their first major target? Bao. They complained Bao was overusing their editor. Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we work with. We've gotten to know her better, being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way with the things she does. We wanted to try and safeguard our most important artist from her, which in this case is Nanoless. Red then adds, also, one of Bao's MV editors is the one that did the Boss Rush music video, and we're 99% sure she told him not to do any more with us. He continues to add on to the Boss Rush music video situation. Let me tell you the tea about the MV thing. Bao had original songs last year that had MVs by her editor, and the songs flopped. Her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Boss Rush MV between his work with Bao. He says he loved working on it and is super excited to work on the next music project. Boss Rush songs blow up and he's credited as the editor. I ask him when he's free to do the next project, and all of a sudden he changes his mind and is only working with Bao going forward. No explanation. Here's some context missing since we know how Bao is behind the scenes, but basically we don't have an MV editor now for our next Boss Rush project. We think that Bao got pissed that her editor did an original song music video for her friends without her knowing, and it did 100 times better than her original songs last year, that she locked him up so no one else could work with him, and then had him make it public on Twitter that he was only working with her going forward, like a literal announcement tweet. And now she's been barking up the tree of our L2D animators and you and a nano model. It's so annoying. I don't know, man. She has a way of guilt-tripping people to get her way. This all seems to be building up for what comes next, asking Nano to cancel Bao's model, a model that was already in progress. Which is wild considering Bao was one of Cinder's closest friends at the time. Red even checks up on Nano again later to confirm, did you cancel the models? Nano replies, I did not. I'm scared to cancel with Bao. Red tries to ease the situation. She has many connections, she'll be fine. As if canceling a friend's project mid-development could ever be harmless. From there, things start to spiral. Nano describes how Red and Cinder began pushing for a kind of exclusive arrangement, but without a real contract or even proper compensation. They wanted her to only work with Cinder, and in exchange, they'd just keep her booked with outfit commissions, but there were strings attached. The main things we're looking for are for you not to take on any brand new model clients and to not make any new model/outfit with VTuber 1 again. Basically, if any other VTuber they didn't like came asking for art, Nano was expected to say no. When Nano asked for a fee for this exclusivity, Red responded, we could do it like when VTuber 1 asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us to buy another art piece. But that's not exactly how exclusivity deals work. They wanted all the control, without any of the downsides. And their justification? More nano babies mean nano models don't have the same values anymore. In their eyes, the more models Nano made, the less special Cinders would be. Then came the blacklist. They gave Nano a list of VTubers she wasn't supposed to work with anymore, either for models or art. The psychological effect on Nanoless was real. It's hard to say how much this messed up with my mind as an artist, that by working with other people, I was somehow making my existing models less special. But it didn't stop with Bao. After Red noticed Nano had started working with Shy Lily, they became suspicious suspicious and started digging. They said it made their antenna go up. Red began asking Nano more questions. What was Lily planning? Who else was she working with? Why hadn't she acknowledged a raid from Cinder? They even claimed Shy Lily had ghosted messages and backed out of a collab last minute. And the worst part, she hadn't shout out Cinder by name on stream.
Okay. Ooh! Oh my goodness! Hello! Oh! Hello, raiders! Hello! The Pyropop raid! Hello, Pyropops! What did you guys do?
If I ever raid you, you better make sure to call me Rima Evenstar part-time supervillain full-time extraordinaire, or it doesn't count. Red ends the convo with another complaint. Feels like we're gonna have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama. Nano summarizes it best. The competition they were referring to were people I thought they considered friends. When she tried to set boundaries, they didn't stop. Instead, Red doubled down with more gossip, more complaints, and more obsession with staying informed. Just gotta stay informed, especially when it comes to our top artist. Never a break. It all just came off as petty. When Nano gently tells them that too much competition causes stress, Red responds, "We aren't the ones getting a model from the artist of the gamer sub owner out of the blue and ghosting them and refusing to acknowledge them. Geez, no one gave me the memo that I needed to gatekeep my artists and editors." Later, Nano reaches out to Cinder directly, bypassing Red. She apologizes for pulling back from the exclusivity talk and says she doesn't want to be caught in drama. She writes, "But I'll understand if things don't work out because of VTuber 1. Cinder responds kindly at first and seems supportive even, but then adds, "When you said I'll understand if things don't work out, it makes me feel like you're okay with not working with me anymore." Nano then reassures her, "There's no point in comparing yourself to VTuber 1. You've grown so much already. I would never give VTuber 1 priority over you. Also, there's not even any model for her being discussed. I just want to sleep clear-minded." Cinder insists it's not coming from her. She just doesn't want to get dragged into drama or comparisons anymore. In another older set of messages dating from 2023, Nano brings up a line
foreshadowing.
that stuck with her. "Not to discredit any of your work, but when everyone's a Nano baby, it feels less special to be one. Kind of been getting the same feeling from gamer subs lately too." Nano admits, "I thought about canceling some models because of it, but then realized it's not really fair to me." Cinder replies with what might be her most infamous line in this entire ordeal. "I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. Of course we love working with you and want to keep working together, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help grow and not because you don't like me." Cinder then starts reminiscing about how she was there from the very start and how she had helped Nano improve her life to decutting by finding someone to assist her, which comes across as a subtle way of saying, "You owe me." She ends with, "But yeah, just let me know if you don't have time for me to be an exclusive Nano art baby anymore." Nano pushes back. "It's important for my job to reach far, and I like working with different projects and people. I never said I don't want to work with you anymore." She reassures her that she'll always get priority. Cinder agrees. "I also think it's important for you to work on projects you're excited about. I'll go through my plans with Red and send them to see if they work with your schedule. I know he can be a little bit pushy sometimes, but it's just because he's doing business for me to grow. And he absolutely loves your work as much as I do." Then nonetheless showcases another set of messages where Red asks, "You didn't tell VTuber 1 you cancelled because of Cinder, did you?" Nano replies, "No, I told all of them it was health issues." The earliest screenshots in this document are from 2023, the latest from 2025. This wasn't a moment, it was a pattern, and they were getting pushier as time went by. Additionally, Nano says that VTuber 1 was constantly being framed as jealous or trying to copy
I have no
Cinder,
idea what any
and
of
Red
these
knew
mean.
how bad it looked because he
I don't pay
spoiler-tagged messages
attention
to
to that.
hide them. I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Cinder, even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up each other because VTuber 1 can't get along. But I also understand her point of view. A new VTuber who people say looks, sound, and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Cinder as an equal or a friend, then it would be like she's endorsing her copy. Or like I've seen some people say, her replacement. They share a lot of the same audience too. Like, at the end of the day, it isn't about how much we make compared to her. We just want her to recognize, hey, Cinder's a big VTuber too. She got there on her own merits, just like you did. Get along. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. Oh my god, you know the spinning figure we have on stream? VTuber 1 figure was announced on Wednesday. No spinning figure. Cinder debuts Saturday. Everyone hears about it. Figure announced, spinning figure on screen with exclamation mark figure right next to it. VTuber 1 streams yesterday. First stream since Cinder debut. Guess what? Spinning figure with exclamation mark figure next to it. But it seems VTuber 1 wasn't the only VTuber this duo kept tabs on. In another set of messages, Redacted complains about another girl. Then like month later unfollowed her on Twitter and started taking her ideas, Cinder's ideas, like the flames, and now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire Cerberus, using fire emojis all the time, shaking my head. Never did that before. It's funny because she used to call herself a hellhound, but stopped when Cinder grew past her, and now uses Cerberus or Cyberpup or whatever her lore says she is. Yeah, so it's like there was also unprovoked tweets from her like, I didn't copy anyone else for my design. My design is all me. This is who I am. Like, huh? The intention behind the bad-mouthing here is clear. It was about framing these other creators as unjust or unfair towards Cinder. In Bao's case, she was accused of hijacking multiple members of their team. With VTuber 1 and VTuber 2, they were painted as if they were the ones sliding Cinder, not the other way around. Cinder is a large VTuber, and her words carry weight, especially when spoken privately to someone like Nanoless, who trusted her deeply. And once that trust was influenced, it became easier to justify, well, she did it to us, so it's okay to do it to her. And throughout all of it, they insisted, it's just business. And maybe the most damning part, Cinder wasn't passive in this. She knew, and she was involved. When Bao read the document and saw what had been happening behind her back, she couldn't stay silent. And what she shared next made it clear. This wasn't just about art. This was about the betrayal of a friend. Not long after the Nanoless document went public, the community was already in shock. If Nanoless document was the match, Bao's response was the moment the flame hit the fuse. Bao's document was much more personal. It didn't read like a takedown, but more so a heartbreak, and was filled with sadness. Her goal wasn't to stir up hate. Her goal was simple, to defend herself and tell the truth about what had actually happened, and most of all, to clear up the things that Red and Cinder had said about her. She begins by explaining that back in March 2024, she announced one of her subathon goals would be a brand new Life 2D model. Nanoless was originally set to be the illustrator for that model. After she finished both the design and base sketch, there was a sudden back and forth on whether or not she had the physical and mental capacity to continue with the model. And in the end, the design was cancelled. Bao had grown attached to the design. She'd shown it to her friends and even shared it in private group chat that Cinder was also a part of. She opened up about how devastated she was about the model being cancelled. And strangely, while others in the chat offered comfort and support, Cinder stayed completely silent. Now, with the screenshots revealed and multiple documents coming to light, Bao realized why Cinder had stayed silent back then. It was because she and Redacted were actively sabotaging ongoing commissions and blocking VTubers, such as herself, from having access to art from Nanoless. In one instance, Nano explains to Red that she had finally cancelled the model on Bao. I can give her the design for free as an apology gift, she says. Yet Redacted responds, don't sell yourself short. I think she'd be fine with taking the design and finding someone else. I wouldn't offer it for free. Maybe half price if she starts shit. Wow. Making sure your friend pays on a project you schemed to have cancelled is wild. And so, Bao begins her response, going point by point and carefully debunking the lies that had been spreading behind her back for months, maybe even years. In the leaked screenshots, Red claimed she hijacked our YouTube editor. Bao responds with clarity. Kaiser had worked with both Bao and Cinder. She and her manager Jun Mitsui only asked for one video per month and made sure not to overwhelm his workload. But here's where it matters most. On March 20th, I started a group Discord call that lasted 5 hours to hang out with my editors. In this group call, Kaiser shared with us that he was afraid to ask Cinder for a raise because he initially turned down an exclusive deal. As a friend to both Cinder and Kaiser, I encouraged him to take the deal and reassured him that it would not change our friendship, as I would never want somebody I care about to miss an opportunity, even if it meant I would lose him as an editor. The other editors who were in the call can corroborate this. That call was witnessed by multiple people, and June, Bao's channel manager, confirmed it publicly. Hello, I am Bao's channel manager, and yes, I was there in the call with Kaiser, Bao, and Sak, and Bao encouraged Kaiser to take the raise. It was definitely something she thought would be best for him. Bao supported any opportunity or anything that Kaiser would choose to go. And Sak, the music video animator we will talk about in a sec, also came out and backed the validity of the call mentioned by Bao. Kaiser also came out adding to the situation. I generally try to put as much effort as I can with everyone that I've worked with. For the past 2 years, I've sacrificed so much of myself to make sure that I did the best job that I could for them. Finding out how much toxicity was behind the scenes truly broke my heart. Then Bao moves on to accusation number 2. Red also claimed that Bao must have influenced Sacramore, Cinder's former motion editor, into going exclusive with her. Again, the truth was very different. In 2024, Sak asked me if he could go completely exclusive for me and work for me in-house with no credit in order for him to be able to quietly work on his personal projects and brand without having VTuber ask him for more commission work. I was happy to accept. I want to reiterate that this was Sak's decision and no one else's. And it wasn't just Bao saying that. Sak himself confirmed in a Google Doc he released shortly after Bao's. I asked Bao to go anonymous and in-house because I had been wanting to focus on my own projects for 2025 since I had spent pretty much all of 2023 and 2024 doing videos for others and was having a lot of people / companies reach out asking me to work with them. And I'm not good at saying no to work opportunities. He asked that he just wanted to be left alone this year and to focus on other projects beyond editing for others, which is completely fair, and why he chose to go anonymous and in-house, cutting out the hassle of juggling multiple clients and deciding to stick exclusively with Bao. On top of that, he refutes another lie spread by the redacted / Cinder duo. In his conversation with Nano, Red says her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. We managed to squeeze in the Boss Rush music video between his work with Bao. But Sak, the editor in question, makes it very clear that the truth was far from that. They had asked me a significant amount of times trying to get me to work with them after I told them no multiple times, and I only said yes because they offered double pay. So no, he wasn't chasing them for work, they hounded him until he agreed, and only after they threw money at it. In the screenshot Sak attached, you can clearly see that Redacted reached out to him 3 separate times asking for an MV edit. Each time, Sak responded that he was completely booked for the dates they were requesting. Then finally, Red messaged again, this time claiming they could be more flexible with the timeline. It was only then that Sak agreed after repeated asks and a promise of double pay. He also refutes Red's claim that they thought Bao got pissed that her editor did an original music video for her friends without her knowing, and it did 100 times better than her original song. As Sak literally had asked Bao with Cinder and Redacted standing right next to him at TwitchCon if it was fine, and she had no problems with it at all. But the part that left him the most sour about the entire situation was how he was passively blamed in public for delivering the video late, which was used as the reason for Cinder's stream delay. In reality, he had delivered everything on time, despite working under a tight deadline, making extra revisions, and dealing with both Red and Cinder sending him key assets very late in the process. For Sak, it felt like a direct attack on his professionalism, something he clearly takes a lot of pride in. And with that, Sacramento
this is a fucking profile picture. It's the guy that like incarnate into another world, and like people call him like a pedophile character. even though it's a class show. Okay, that's pretty base. Not gonna lie, that's pretty base. Profile picture choice pretty base. Mine is like from Pop the Night because I like that character, and I was like, the first idea was to be like a detective VTuber. Then I kind of switched gears. But this is crazy. This is like, I don't know. There's a pattern in these people, and it's not just like Cinder. There's also other VTubers. There's this kind of, I would call it scorched earth policy. Basically, just try to deny others of getting resources, getting maybe model, MV editing, stuff like that. If I had the money, I I don't know. You have to put in factor that these take a lot of time, effort, and money to make it happen. It's not just like, oh, you do this, they give you that. It's also trust building between each other. And if they're this close, they are kind of like friend, right? But the way they do things are just not very friendly at all. Behind the scene, they don't like talk directly with the authors, VTuber about, oh, we share like the same editor. Like, can he or she focus on mine, or do you want to you have your own video focus first? Talking about compromise basically to make sure that everything works fine. But this is like, you lose nothing. This is not a compromise. This is a manipulation. This is manipulation and exploitation. In a world VTuber, I understand it was there's a compromise, and people have to make a skip. They just make some weird choices, bad choices that they come in term together, I guess, like like a normal human being do, right? But this is just sad, man. This sucks. This situation sucks. You have like all the all the available resources and stuff to make sure you know you um you go well together, you do well together. But clearly, Cinder is not doing that. She's doing scorched earth policy, and that kind of thing is dangerous. Why do I keep talking about like scorched earth policy? It's probably not that, but like it's close to that, and I think I don't know. It's kind of funny because scorched earth, burn, cinder, fire, stuff like that. Okay, let's continue.
Journalism, something he clearly takes a lot of pride in. And with that, Sacramore completely debunked Redacted's lies about him. Now back to the Bao document. Bao continues addressing and debunking the jealousy narrative. One of the ugliest part in the leaked DMs from Red was Bao had original songs that flopped, insinuating that she convinced Sack to work exclusively with her because she's jealous that Cinder's music project Boss Rush blew up. This wasn't business, it was just mean-spirited. I'm in shock and disbelief that this is the narrative they decided I deserved. Saying that I harbored an invisible jealousy because my songs flopped made me feel sick to my stomach. In late 2024, I was suffering from debilitating TMJ pain. I had to have fluid drain from my jaw just to open my mouth. They both knew this. I have always wanted my friends to succeed alongside me, and I don't know how they could say these things while simultaneously weaponizing my most vulnerable moments against me.
Okay, let's go back to this. This part is just, what can I say that haven't been said on Twitter or reply from all this already. It's not just I I understand the pain. My grandma was like eating out of like a tube, a food tube. She can't chew, she can't eat. Like by herself. She paralyzed by like um below her neck. They were all paralyzed. So that kind of pain, that kind of medical condition and situation in general, just bad, and people took advantage of that in order to, I don't know. Also, what's the end goal here? I never dig into syndicates, but I wonder what the end goal is, because this is just slowly pushing away people that aren't important in quotation mark, because they're not a VTuber. They just editor, they just uh, freelancer, contractor, and all that. But even if they are not a VTuber, they're not a face. They're not the one that bring in all the money and work with the project. That's fucked up, man. You just treat these people as a low life, and you treat yourself as like some kind of like entitled people. Ego is a big part in this. Being like having this inflated ego that you can just do anything you want because you have money, you have power, you have the influence, you have everything. Little did they know, everything was documented. Did people forget that this is 2020s? It's a new century, new decade, and people are not gonna take this as easy as, I don't know, like news back, like in drama and news. This is this is dangerous because it's different from TV drama. TV drama, you have the actor, actress, this, that, director, producer, whatever. The news report about it. They get the headline. That's it. She actually does a video on an actor as well, about an actress who have a relationship with him when she was like underage. It was like South Korean one. I didn't watch through like all of it, so I don't know how it like and but yeah, like the new era, the new age of the internet is far different than what's on the TV. You're gonna like dig through all this chat log and just frame it. And you can explain yourself that way, in a way that people can just read. Or in this case, Rima Evenstar compile it so I can understand it without the need to read, because I would be taking my time reading those document, honestly. And if I ever become like a big, not if, but more like when I become a big VTuber that make headline, all that, hopefully I don't have people like this in my circle. I mean, I know a couple of friends that probably would make good collaborate like partner, but they're good people. None of them are like this. None of them are like this. At worst, there would be like networking to a lot of people, so you're not like you don't feel like the priority per se. But that's just business, right? Like she just said, but like at the same time, that's just how networking works. But this kind of thing is far from networking. This is so like social engineering right here. I know that because I study in, I don't study. It's more like general knowledge that I absorbed throughout the years. So as a VTuber myself, I can't say much about that, but about the situation, but the social engineering part is become really damaging. And it was like really, I wasn't even like a VTuber, like YouTuber. I haven't done anything back then. Stuff like this just exists on the online world. But when it comes to like performance and people watch you and a lot of people look up to you and they become attached to you, that's a different meaning, a different thing entirely. I mean, I was in a Discord group of a VR chat YouTuber. He doesn't do the content anymore. He will move on to do all the content. I don't even know if the server is still up, but there was a lot of things going on like in the server. I know some of the people that I know turn into a VTuber, big, small, medium in size. Even I become a VTuber because I always wanted to make like YouTube content without the fact that I have to show my face or my identity. So to stay anonymous, I had to use an avatar to talk. It's not until like 2023, late 2023, that I actually used this kind of model, PNG model, and then in last year, late of last year, is when I become a full-fledged VTuber. I got a model, I got money, I got backup from my friend. In a way, I got a lot of tool to create, and I got a lot of resources to create and to become independent to sustain myself. Of course, that's not coming anytime soon unless there's a miracle. But yeah, it's interesting. Seeing all this might help me. Not might. It would definitely help me make deals with people, because that's what I do in order to make money. I make deal. I'm not the most loudest person in the room. I'm not the most exciting person in the room. But I'm very deliberate on what I do. Stuff like this is hopefully I don't get to see it in my my own kind of circle, because my friends are all nice. I'm ranting too much. I'm like yapping so much for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know, but I have good friends. So seeing all this is just there's a pattern, and you can see the pattern. As for me, I'm doing fine. But this is messed up for a lot of people, not just Bao. My friend Shiley Lee. I wonder if Vienna VTuber also got affected by this as well. Maybe you'll continue in video. Let's continue.
These things while simultaneously weaponizing my most vulnerable moments against me. No one watching that unfold could deny how cruel that was. Instead of supporting her while she was at her lowest, they decided to stab her in the back. And still, Bao held back. She only addressed the screenshots, she didn't escalate, she didn't attack Cinder personally, she didn't even release private DMs other than the ones that had already been showcased in Nanoless document. She ends up by saying that some of these messages date back years ago, yet she only found out 48 hours ago. They never gave her the common courtesy of talking about this privately over those years. My thoughts, feelings, my most vulnerable, darkest moments that I shared in confidence with people I thought would be by my side years and years from now may have been used as information to ruin my chances to have the same VTuber model as someone I thought was my friend, and I don't know how I can ever be the same after this. And just when the pattern of manipulation seemed limited to a few select creators, another name surfaced. Cottontail VA, a fellow VTuber and former friend of Cinder's, comes out and reveals on Twitter that she was one of the redacted names in the Nanoless document that Red had tried to blacklist. This made my stomach drop to read. It makes me very sad to have things come out like this, sending Nano and Bao so much love. With that tweet, she attached a screenshot where Red asked Nanoless, You don't work with Bao, Cotton, or VTuber1 at all again. Models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with Bao or Cotton before. Revealing Cottontail was targeted, just like Bao. And the worst part, she was Cinder's friend too. Another person who had trusted her, and another name quietly crossed off the list because she was viewed as competition. As more creators spoke up, as more documents dropped, more screenshots were shared, and more patterns emerged.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause again because I'm gonna pause Andy, pause Peter, whatever you're gonna call. But competition in a healthy way helps build the platform that you are on, the foundation of a career. A good competition is like back and forth. It's kind of like being a rival, you know. The competition like this is just to scuff the competition, to eliminate into, you know, just oblivion. It's unlike other, you know, kind of competition that's healthy, like you know, like maybe jokes, maybe, you know, doing something just to, you know, go back and forth about it. Maybe go get a little meta, maybe make like a story about it. Competition like this is not even competition. It's more like, I don't know. Competition is not a bad thing. It's just that the way they frame it, they make it, and stuff like that is just not good. Not good at all. This is not very smart.
Pressure on Cinder became unbearable. Everyone was waiting to see what she'd say. Would she own up to it? Would she admit her part? Would she explain the years of
Annie?
behind-the-scenes sabotage? Then she finally posted a statement, and it said exactly what many people feared, but also what many people expected. She threw her manager Redacted under the bus, saying, effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry everyone, I will make a larger response when I'm able. This wasn't an apology, and it wasn't an explanation. It was a disassociation, a deflection. To many, it felt like she was trying to distance herself from the fire she helped start. But by now it was too late.
That fucking pun is too perfect.
From the fire she helped start. But by now it was too late, because as the documents showed, Red wasn't acting alone. But just minutes after Cinder tried to distance herself from the fallout, a bombshell comment dropped that completely dismantled the narrative she was trying to spin.
True.
Van Peaches, a former friend, replied directly under her post, saying, I remember playing Phasmophobia with you and hearing Red chat away next to you before you first debuted like 4 years ago. You told me he was your boyfriend. Then, before TwitchCon, you switched it up and said, just so you know, my manager is coming with me on this trip. As if I didn't know who he was. It's even ickier reading this tweet knowing he's your significant other and that you're probably going to try to avoid taking responsibility by nuking the Red side of this duo. This one reply blew the lid off Cinder's PR move. It confirmed that Red wasn't just a manager, he was her longtime boyfriend. Cinder had deliberately downplayed the relationship, and her sudden disassociation, not accountability, just damage control. What felt like a carefully crafted exit strategy was now being seen for what it was. A blatant lie. And almost instantly, public sentiment turned against her. While the community was still reeling from the recent revelations, another document then surfaced. This one from Rain Does Stuff, a creator who knew Cinder back before she was even Cinder. Back then, she went by Tachi.mp3 and made GFE-style ASMR content. While she was already rumored to have caused issues in the ASMR space, like using other creators' scripts without credit, Rain's document isn't about plagiarism. It's about something much more personal. A long-running, emotionally charged and suggestive relationship with Cinder that, according to him, was built on manipulation. Rain describes how their conversation started when he was already a known ASMR creator. At the time, his ASMR channel was bigger than her, and she was thrilled to work with someone as talented as him. He says Tashi/Cinder quickly turned things flirty, even though she had a boyfriend at the time, strongly implied to be redacted. Pretty much immediately she was flirting with me despite, as you can see here, having a boyfriend, and both of us knowing she had a boyfriend, including regularly talking shit about him to me while telling me how great it would be were I to replace him. He describes months of emotionally loaded interactions, including voice calls, manipulative mixed signals, and explicit sexting, not shown in the doc as Rain found it unnecessary, although Rain does include a few sexually suggestive examples. One particularly weird moment is when Tachi tries to justify their entire relationship by explaining that her boyfriend bought a fleshlight instead of giving her attention when she was feeling needy. He sent me a screenshot a couple weeks ago telling me he was getting one and had the nerve to use it in front of me to show me how great it was. This leads Rain to respond. I'm very slowly not feeling as bad for him about all of this, cause it did honestly leave a bad taste in my mouth that all of this was happening while you were taken. But then, yeah, that's a bit... It's an awkward and bizarre exchange, one that adds another layer of discomfort to this whole situation. The rest of the discussion is mostly Tachi venting her frustrations and unhappiness with her current relationship, and ends this conversation saying things like, I don't know what I'd do without you, and I love you so much, I don't know how to thank you. However, as Cinder's content and brand begun to grow, and Rain's own channel activity slowed, he says the messages gradually stopped. In his own words, Cinder no longer felt she could ladder climb from me. Eventually, she stopped using that account altogether and committed fully to Cinder. I never heard from her again. Rain closes by saying he's not traumatized by what happened, he just wanted to provide context, but ends his document with his final judgment. She's an opportunist wherever she can find a way to be, and she does not care what happens to the people she springboards off from. At this point, the entire VTuber community is in full-blown reaction mode. Commentary is erupting from every corner, shock, confusion, disbelief, epic memes are made. Even creators who usually stay far away from drama are speaking up. People start revisiting their own past interactions with Cinder, wondering if they missed red flags, and out of nowhere, even VShojo's General Giga posts this tweet. Just realized why an art project of mine was suddenly cancelled. Insane. Then another Google Doc dropped, and with it a redacted name. Then another Google Doc.
I don't know how to react to this. This is fucking insane. I used the exact same meme, but I hit my go. Oh man, the delay is so bad. It's just business. We want the
dropped
video.
And with it, a redacted name from the Nanoless screenshots was finally revealed. Spite. Up until now, she had never even been part of the conversation publicly, but as it turns out, she was one of the VTubers Red had been badmouthing in private. In the leaked messages, Red describes a creator who had rebranded to a fire Cerberus and accused her of taking Cinder's visual ideas. She's the one being referred to in this screenshot. Then like a month later, unfollowed her on Twitter and started taking her ideas. Cinder's idea, like the flames, and now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire Cerberus, using fire emojis all the time, shaking my head. It's funny because she used to call herself a hellhound, but stopped when Cinder grew past her, and now uses Cerberus or Cerberpup or whatever her lore says she is, I don't know. He even pointed out to Spite's tweet defending her design. I didn't copy anyone else for my design. My design is all me. Spite immediately recognized the lines. They were about her, and that's what pushed her to speak out. Her document lays out a calm, detailed timeline showing how her designs, outfit choices, and lore came first, often debuting months before similar elements showed up on Cinder. From the beginning, Spite's lore was clear. Since the beginning of my VTuber journey, it has been written in my backstory and lore that I am the daughter of Cerberus. But that didn't stop the comparisons. From day one, Spite was constantly told she was a Cinder knockoff. People called her off-brand, mocked her for only having one head, and flooded her streams with jokes and harassment. And the timing didn't help. On May 14, 2022, I debuted my 2.0 Live 2D model. But that very same day, Cinder posted her debut announcement for her 1.0 model. Spite says she hadn't even heard of Cinder at the time, but the comments and comparisons started rolling in almost immediately. People accused her of cloud chasing, so she rebranded, publicly shifting from Hellhound to Cerberus to distance herself. Still, the overlap didn't stop. In July 2022, Spite's debut a goth-inspired outfit. Spiked choker, ripped t-shirt, shorts, and sharp accessories. A few weeks later, Cinder posts a very similar look. In April 2024, on stream, Spite designs a Greek goddess outfit fitting her Cerberus lore. But a few months later, in December, Cinder debuted a white and gold Heaven Okami-inspired look, complete with Greek columns in the background. Spite says this made her feel like no idea she came up with could truly be her own. Then in April 2024, Spite teases a casual new model, hoodie, choker cleavage, and bangs covering one eye.
Bitch.
And in April 2025, Cinder reveals a nearly identical look. Not a perfect match, of course, but close enough that Spite's critics blew up with accusations. Again. Then Cinder drops merch with a character featuring grey-blue skin, teal hair, and long ears. Multiple fans DM'd Spite thinking the merch was based on her, until they realized it wasn't. No matter what Spite did, people constantly compared her to someone she'd never even interacted with. Then came the message that made everything click. In January 2023, another VTuber reached out saying she too had been bullied by Cinder and parts of her community, just for having flames in her ears. They claimed Cinder had accused them of copying her design, despite no real overlap beyond that one detail. Spite never replied to that message. At the time, she didn't want to get involved in drama. But after seeing the screenshots, she realized this wasn't just her. Knowing that I was being watched and talked poorly about really hurts, especially when they never attempted to interact with me. I just wanted to be left alone and be happy in my own space. Because this wasn't just being ignored, this was being monitored, watched, and mocked by a creator significantly larger who shouldn't have had no reason to punch down. And again, Spite never accuses Cinder of stealing from her in the document. She simply wanted to show that she didn't steal from Cinder, that her work, her lore, and her identity were
That law is
her own
huge.
and always had been. In the wake of everything going down, Cinder's Discord server, home to over 35,000 members, was then put on
that's a lot of
full
people.
lockdown. Channels were closed, permissions restricted, and the community went silent. But the silence didn't last long. Under the same tweet, another creator stepped in, Neon Tales ASMR. She shared that months ago she had posted an ASMR roleplay featuring her original Hellhound OC, and almost immediately, Cinder's fans began harassing her. She writes, "Do we remember when she sent her entire following to attack me because I made an ASMR roleplay with this Hellhound OC and that was copying her? Or how about she was actively liking tweets calling me names? Of course we don't remember because she made me delete every tweet regarding it after it happened. This mean girl behavior is not new. Smaller creators like myself were just intimidated into silence and pretending like it never happened." Neon Tales also includes a screenshot showing Cinder herself had liked a tweet mocking her, specifically one calling Neon Tales cringe. I feel like if Twitter still showed public likes by default, a lot of creators would be getting exposed right now. But
You don't say. You don't say, girl. What is it? This is fucking scary. Can you imagine, like, if there's like a big VTuber that saw my design and was like, "Oh, that's like my gothic loaded femboy outfit that I designed 3 years ago." Because that would be crazy. At least they're not going after my original design, which is a tracksuit, which I didn't give too much thought into designing it. I mean, by the time I got the money, enough money, I probably gonna save up money and commission like a new model next year, maybe, if possible. But first, need to get a PC. But yeah, Imagine if you get like harassed by like a big VTuber, big YouTuber that have more influence than you, and just come to your chat and just say, "Oh, your model sucks. Your big forehead thing is actually originally mine. There was originally this person, design. The OC is copy. It'd be crazy. Though it's not too low of a possibility because I'm using Quick Hustle as the design tool, which I'll do the 2.0 better. The reason why I'm not using the new model about the, I guess I can show you this a little bit. Actually, no, I can't show you this. I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, but like, you can easily find me on Discord with this kind of exposure. I have a lot of model, including this one. Here we go. This one is a model that I commissioned. This is a good redesign. I'm probably gonna use it as a base for 2.0, 2D model. It looks cool. It looks fine. Looks very feminine. But then I just, it is, where's the original? This is the original. It looks very plain because I made this like what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah, it has been many years since I made this design. Red eye, red hair, red tinted hair, jacket. Then I think I created this last year. This one's like from last year. I was like bored and I was like, oh, if I'm gonna be a fanboy on YouTube, why don't I look the part? But it's not like traditional fanboy or whatever aesthetic. It's more of a obsession with like fashion in general. Because I really love dressing up. I'm like a cosplay, cross dresser and stuff like that. Not really like a like trans girl, trans femme. But who knows? Maybe that'll be the case. But for the time being, it's just me being cross dresser and stuff like that. And maybe up Corpo Shana as well. But I'm using, I could just not like high to get like a model done, but I want to see what my artist is capable of. So if they can do this model very good, I need to like, I'm gonna switch to this and then here we go. And then add a picture. I'm not gonna show you like a big picture. This detail on the commission art. My artist is very nice, by the way. I just don't have the money to get more model, get more design, work with them more. But they are very, very friendly and talented, and I don't think they have any bad history. It's just kind of weird that I found them on like a random website because I don't know how to like find a VTuber model creator or whatever designer. And I found them, and they were like, "Oh, this is they're on this discount, and the model is not too expensive." And now, well, now they have upgraded their price, updated the price due to popular demand and potential new collaborators, I suppose. Not this. Where is it? I saved it somewhere here around. My VTuber asset. Live 2D. No, that's not it. YouTuber hard body. There we go. We have a base. I guess I can show this a little bit. Oh. Why did it take me back? Oh. Yeah, that's very big. Too damn big, actually. I need to... How do I do this? I forgot. Transform, fit the screen. There we go. This is the design. It's very good. It's very good looking. Damn, that's so big on the stream. the model is very detailed. So it's gonna show. So there's a ribbon. There's a necklace. If you look at my design that I come up with from Koikatsu, you can see the similarity, except that they add a lot of details on this. Actually, can I zoom in even more? Just like one detail that I really like. Yeah, it's more girly. The hair was looking weird at first, and then I asked for them to redesign. The hat is from Blue Archive, kinda, and the wing is. I only asked them to add the hat, not the wing, but I guess they assume that it's the like part of it. I suppose part of the hat. I don't complain. This is actually like nice. Looks very girly. There's no ribbon because I don't think I have ribbon in the design. Yeah, it's very pretty, isn't it? The eyeglasses. And then there's also the beauty mark on the left eye, left cheek. It's such a very small detail that no one would notice. Oh, it's an airplane flying above my head again. But yeah, this design is a new one. I think it's the newest one. Actually, the one I'm using right now is the newest one. This is from last year, I think. Is it from last year? I kind of forgot. I don't have many resources back then. Alright, let's continue with the video. I got sidetracked, sorry about that. It's just that if I get like fucking copyrighted or what, like get like cease and desist, DMCA or whatever for using the same model or whatever, just like similar model, I can actually proudly say that I have it first. I don't even follow any other VTuber apart from Ruka, which is I forgot his law or her law, whatever. Ruka Erica. Damn, start. Even timestamp my. They grow pretty fast. They do these short. They don't make video. They just live stream. Yeah, they don't make video aside from shorts. Free talk goals. This is their stream. Just last night. They actually show up on like on my chat, and I was like, oh cool, another VTuber, fellow VTuber. I don't know when they approached me. Probably since this is 8 months ago. I followed them, I think. Yes, I followed them. Same to Twitter as well. A sparrow? Is that like a lore? You get a lot of fan art, by the way. 7,000 views. Indie VTubers together strong, right? I don't really show up on their stream very much, but they have very like fun energy to interact with. So if you're watching this and you like stumble upon me ranting and yapping about another VTuber, check them out. They're very talented. Got a lot of fan art too, so they interact with like a lot of artists on Twitter. I don't really do that. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. All right, let's continue.
Neon Tales also includes a screenshot showing Cinder herself had liked a tweet mocking her, specifically one calling Neon Tales cringe. I feel like if Twitter still showed public likes by default, a lot of creators would be getting exposed right now. But things would take a far darker turn as someone else, one of the most respected VTubers in the entire space, finally broke her silence. One more name that had been redacted earlier finally stepped forward and was revealed. Silvervale. The document is literally titled I am VTuber 1, referring to the redacted names in the initial Nanolist document. That means she was the creator who had their birthday model sabotaged by Cinder and redacted, without ever knowing it was happening. Throughout the entire document, Silvervale makes a point to stress that she and Cinder weren't even friends. They barely spoke, and she made a conscious decision not to associate with her professionally or socially, which made Cinder's jealousy and hostility feel entirely one-sided. I didn't know Cinder, we weren't friends, and we have barely talked. Even writing this, I do not understand what I could have possibly done to warrant the level of malice and cruelty shown. One of the few direct contact they ever had, a surprise photo at TwitchCon 2023 where Cinder allegedly approached her meet and greet, posed for a picture without asking, and then posted it on Twitter, framing it in a way that made them seem closer than they actually were.
Damn, that's petty as hell.
Cinder reached out through Silvervale's manager at Mythic asking to set up a collab. Silvervale declined, telling her manager that she preferred not to do collabs. But then Cinder followed up by DMing her directly, and this time suggesting a merch collaboration and insisting they could make tons of money from it. Silvervale politely declined again. I'm really flattered by their persistence, but I'm just not interested in transactional relationships with anyone. I hope you can understand. I will always prioritize my mental health and peace over any potential profit that would make me feel used transactionally and put me out of my comfort zone. This, coupled with screenshots from Redacted, sounds so much crazier in hindsight. Knowing that all the shit talking, the collab requests, and even the photo at the meet and greet, all of that happened before Silvervale had ever even turned them down. In one message, Red says, like, at the end of the day, it isn't about how much we make compared to her, we just want her to be recognized. Hey, Cinder's a big VTuber too, she got there on her own merits, just like you did. Get along. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. Their insistence on being acknowledged by someone they clearly despised in private reads less like professional frustration and more like insecurity masked as entitlement.
This
is
not
just petty, it's pathetic. Silvervale also explains that she had worked with Nanoless for years and considered her a friend. The two had been planning a new birthday model together, something personal, something special.
Yeah, the model is look crazy.
Had been genuinely excited about. But then Nano suddenly backed out. At the time, she told Silvervale it was due to health issues and stress, and Silver accepted that without question. But after seeing the screenshots where Redacted specifically asks Nano not to make any new model or outfits with Silver again, the truth hit differently. And then Redacted checked again with Nano just to make sure she hadn't told Silvervale that the cancellation was because of Cinder. Because they knew if that ever came out, it would open one hell of a Pandora's box. Silver writes, I'm now aware that the actual reason for her declining to work with me was external pressure from Redacted
already
and Cinder. Words cannot describe how heartbroken I was and am. What's even more insane is that the duo was actively putting pressure on Nano to cancel Silvervale's model model just a mere month after the TwitchCon meet and greet. On
Man, I gotta say, I make some beer with Coca-Cola and some ice. Look kind of like piss. Not gonna lie. Just for one night. My nurse just tell me to stop drinking and smoking, and I was like, no, I can't. But I didn't tell them that I can't. I just said that okay, I'll try. In a life like this, it's different. It's difficult to get ideas if you don't go outside. I don't go outside because there's not much out there, and there's a lot of resource that needed to, the price of gas for the motorcycle, food I had to eat, clothes I had to wash. I prefer to keep it really like minimalistic. Anyway, I just got sidetracked.
the outside, they wanted everyone to believe they were on good terms, and in that same breath, they were working behind the scenes to sabotage her project. Silvervale then echoes a sentiment many others have since shared. I find it impossible that he acted solely on his own intentions without Cinder's knowledge or consent, given the extent in which he had represented her publicly and professionally. And what's most chilling, right before Nano canceled the model, Cinder sent her a Discord message celebrating the fact that they shared art. And all while fully aware that she and Redacted were pressuring Nano behind the scenes to walk away. She ends the document with, Cinder and Redacted have spent years sabotaging me for no understandable reason. I have never done anything to warrant this other than just existing as Silvervale. It's hard to express how crushing a feeling it is to be talked about so cruelly and maliciously without my knowing, and to know opportunities and friendships were taken away.
Down to the
Now,
second
all
day.
of that had happened in the span of a single day. And
That was one day.
Things would start to
40 minutes, and then we only on one day in all the drama. Damn, these people will type like document like fucking fast, man. Like, come on, what? All in one day. So why is my stream is so lower quality? Can I not choose? I have picture advance, 1080p. I stream on that level, so come on now. The second day. Sound effect, goddamn.
to calm down from that point onward, but no. In fact, things got so much worse.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Her eyes say purple on my laptop. It was like pink on my phone. Even though my laptop was like have like a high definition screen, a refresh rate or whatever. That was weird. Everything looks brighter on my phone.
Onward, but no. In fact, things got so much worse. Day 2 got kickstarted with Cinder finally releasing her long-awaited response
20
in the
million
form of her
views.
own Google
26.
Document. She starts by confirming what many already suspected. Redacted has been my co-content creator since I began making content, and we've been in a relationship since the beginning. She explains she kept her personal relationship private, but now that it's public, she has no reason to hide it anymore. As of now, Red no longer works with her, and she says their personal situation will be handled privately. Then comes her attempt to explain the bigger picture. After years of working on everything together, his hyper-businesses oriented outlook warped my view. I lost sight of the point. She admits the behavior wasn't healthy, but this is one of the few places where she accepts any personal accountability. Cinder says Red handled most communications with Nano through DMs. She shared a project server with her, but only for work-related updates. She claims she wasn't aware of how controlling Red had become over Nano's commissions and says, I should have been more diligent in my oversight. From her point of view, Nano always seemed eager and happy to take on work. Cinder says she never pushed for exclusivity, only that Red did, and she now sees how unfair that was. She also insists she was only aware of one creator being blacklisted. implied to be Silvervale here, not Bao or Cotton. If she'd known, she says she would have stepped in. Her
The
early
fuck am I
DMs to
looking at?
Nano, she calls them very guilt-trippy, but says she ultimately tried to respect her boundaries. Cinder also says she has no idea about recent Red Nano conversations involving Shy Lily, and that while she had expressed concerns about Lily's silence, Red had acted on his own for this. She denies knowing anything about Gary's model project either. Cinder also attempts to clarify the now infamous "it's just business" screenshot, which sparked widespread backlash. She claims it wasn't about canceling any model, but her acceptance of Nano working with other clients. Me saying it's just business was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decision. But was it really? Let's take a look at the actual exchange. Nano says, "I fought on canceling some models because of it, but then I realized it's not really fair to me," and Cinder responds, "I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. Of course we love working with you and want to keep working together, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help grow and not because you don't like me." Listen, either I'm horrible at picking up context clues or something, but if Cinder really meant it's just business in a chill, supportive way, that vibe did not make it through the screen. Now, to understand what happened with Silvervale, Cinder says you have to go back. Before becoming Cinder, she was Tachi, a cherry blossom-themed ASMR creator, and in 2020, she and Red began designing her VTuber persona, a pink and white wolf girl. Then, Silvervale debuted her Sakura wolf redesign, and they decided to pivot. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy. That pivot became the Hellhound version of Cinder, mixing Okami with metal. Red coined the name Cinder, combining sin plus cinder. She says the similarity to Silver was coincidental and that she genuinely wanted to be friends, even drawing fan arts of the two together. But behind the scenes, comparisons to Silver began to eat away at her confidence. It really felt like she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. Eventually, she brought up the idea of no longer letting Nano design for Silvervale, admitting it was rooted in insecurity and completely undeserved. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. Now, on Spite and her design overlap, Cinder claims she had no idea Red was badmouthing Spite in DMs with Nano, saying, "My only personal involvement with excluding someone was Silver." She explains that her own model sheet, including the ripped shirt and shorts, was finished in early 2021. When she saw Spite's later designs incorporating fire elements, she assumed it was copying, but now realizes she jumped to conclusions. She insists she never acted on those assumptions beyond venting privately to Red. As for other similarities, the blue flame merch art and sleepy outfit, she says all of them were either long planned or coincidental, or in the case of the waifu cup, a choice made by the artist. As for the angel outfit, the angel design had been planned since 2023, and she intentionally leaned away from religious imagery to focus on a Greek Valkyrie aesthetic, which, as a history buff, personally offends me because the Greeks did not have Valkyries. In the end, she concludes, Spite never should have received the hate comments, and I never advocated for anyone to do so. Cinder also addresses the story mentioned by Spite, a smaller ASMR creator she assumed was Neon Tails, who said she was harassed for using a Hellhound OC. Cinder admits she overreacted. "It was undoubtedly created using me as a reference, and I overreacted." She apologized, the creator adjusted the design, and Cinder believed it was resolved. In the final section of the document, Cinder opens up, taking responsibility for her actions and issuing direct apologies to nearly everyone involved. She admits she cheated on her boyfriend years ago with Rain, using him for emotional support and escapism during her ASMR career. "I was immature, vulnerable, and emotionally distant in real life." She also addresses her growing distance from friends like Peaches, attributing it to burnout and a poor work-life balance. "I've always had a low social battery. I rarely had the energy to keep up." To her community, she says she knows she failed them, especially those who looked up to her. And in her final statement, she pins much of the damage on Red's influence. The harm Red had caused with the way he viewed things is irreparable. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me may, understandably, never be mended again. I love my job and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading. Cinder. And how was this apology received? With outrage, not just disappointment, full-blown backlash. Rather than putting out the fire, Cinder's response poured gasoline on it. What was
Jeez,
meant to
with all
be
the
a
pun.
heartfelt reckoning ended up fanning the flames even further. The biggest issue was her constant emphasis on redacted, painting him as the mastermind behind her actions while she stood by unaware. To many, it sounded like a carefully constructed cop-out, a narrative where her manager/boyfriend just happened to be manipulating everything behind the scenes, building her brand like some Machiavellian puppet master, while she conveniently claimed ignorance. And the public, they just weren't buying it. And from a legal standpoint, it could have also qualified as tortuous interference. Convincing an artist to drop clients behind the scenes? That's sabotaging business relationships. Even if Fred was the one pulling strings, Cinder could still be held accountable under vicarious liability since he was acting on her behalf. Ignorance doesn't excuse responsibility, as Legal Mindset, a lawyer, commented.
Here's what I've been saying in the VTuber community for over a year. And here's the thing that nobody's been listening to me on, and I'm going to call it out right now because this is the reason why Cinder is 100% implicated, because this is the manager. And when you call somebody a manager, you are giving them agency and authority. So any action a manager takes is as if it is an extension of the VTuber. The manager is your agent. That is your action. You are responsible for that. So everything Redacted does, Cinder is 100% legally on the line for. 100% legally through, somebody said in the chat, vicarious liability. They are a representation of you. Legally, this is why people are idiots for calling these people managers. I'm sorry, they're on the fucking line. Under US law.
People were hoping for true accountability, a direct acknowledgement of what she had done and how deeply it had hurt those around her, not her hiding behind her manager's back. And now people were furious. Bao responded, How? How can you say you didn't know? I showed you both my base model sketch from Nano at WeebCon. We walked on stage and performed together. You were in the group chat where I shared my sadness over Nano suddenly canceling my model after we were so close to begin in Live 2D and rigging. And to now find out that just a day before I shared my sadness, this is the conversation that happened that ruined months of debut prep, planning, and merch preparation. If you want to apologize to me, please do it properly and stop hiding behind Red. And then Shy Lily came in the replies with the steel chair. The absolute audacity to sit here and continue to manipulate and gaslight is absolute insanity. The pain and mental torment you've caused to the ones closest and most supportive of you has been devastating, and I have never been so heartbroken and hurt so badly for my friends. You are the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting, reading and hearing of how you've really viewed me behind my back, not just through screenshots of your man, but also your very own messages, while having to sit here and read through these bullshit lies you spin makes me want to vomit. To claim that you didn't know a single thing and had zero awareness of what your man was up to, when everyone who's shared even a single moment with you knows that you basically operate as the same person, sharing every waking moment while loving to jump at the slightest opportunity to turn into your most slanderous self as soon as the opportunity was given. Even when talking about your friends is sickening. I have experienced your own actions without Red, in a situation where in your own screenshotted words you expressed a pressure to live up to what Lily is, and proceeded to throw one of your most loyal and supportive friends under the bus after months of continuous planning, just because you consistently chose business over friends, never feeling bad for failing them. Just to earn the bag and compete with me over a V-Card collab that you rescheduled to be on the exact date your friend needed you to keep an important promise. You actively lied about it to them, instead blaming me for a collab you rescheduled world, adding me to the pool of excuses to save your ass when you realized you were being a bad friend. Why blame me for choosing to miss an obligation you agreed to on one of the most important days in that friend's career? Everything you do is out of competition through your constant need to one-up the people who are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to earn from to begin with. You're welcome, by the way. You claim that it's just business? Well, in the business world, there has to be accountability, and all you've done is try to shove it away and admit to nothing. In true narcissistic fashion, you're only feeling sorry about yourself and your own consequences and your career and try to salvage it. I'm sorry for everyone who looked up to you as an inspiration, and I'm especially sorry for your fans. Pyro Pups deserve better. Then came Aru's testimony. We've talked about Aru on this channel before. She's no stranger to being taken advantage of. In the past, she was involved in a similar situation with another VTuber, Yakirisu, who allegedly used her to climb the social ladder while bullying her behind the scenes and badmouthing her to other creators in an effort to sabotage her career. So when Aru saw Cinder's apology, it all felt eerily familiar. And that's when she spoke out. Not because she was as directly affected as others, but because the patterns were impossible to ignore. It's clear now that I was lied and used, not treated as a friend, but as a tool. From being pushed into facilitating a collab with Silverveil, to later realizing that the entire connection may have been orchestrated, Aru's experience is another damning example of how Cinder manipulated relationships to get what she wanted, and discarded people when they no longer served a purpose. At the time, Aru thought she was just helping a friend. She attended Silverveil's meet and greet with Cinder, something that to her felt like a heartfelt invitation. As someone who didn't grow up with many social invitations, that gesture felt special. But in hindsight, it became clear that the invite wasn't out of friendship, it was strategic. Cinder saw her as a bridge to Silverveil. After the introduction, she even pushed Aru multiple times to ask Silverveil for a collab, despite Aru being someone who rarely initiates collabs at all. Now I know that wasn't true, and realizing that she actually harbored resentment the whole time against Silverveil makes me feel completely used. I wasn't a person to her, just a connection. Over time, the dynamic shifted. Aru noticed Cinder no longer treated her like a real friend, and even hinted in person that she didn't like her. Aru believes this coldness may have been because she didn't push hard enough for that collab with Silver. By 2023, their friendship had all but disappeared. Aru admits she didn't know how to set boundaries at the time, but she's since learned. Cinder's apology in her eyes felt performative, especially towards Silverveil. And beyond just this situation, Aru reflects on how certain figures in the community made her feel isolated and unwelcome. People like her, Yaki, and others made me feel that the best choice for myself was to step away from VTubing entirely. She ends her message by echoing the feelings so many shared during this controversy. What I went through wasn't nearly as intense as what Nanolith experienced, but I do understand how hard it is to say no to a friend, especially when they make you feel like you're the only one who can help. The next day, a few of the girly pops go live to talk about the situation. Bao starts first by sharing her side of the story, and honestly, just sounds completely defeated.
I think the point of this stream is so I can return to some semblance of normalcy after everything.
She explains that the Thursday before everything blew up, Shy Lily messaged her asking to talk about something important, but Bao told her she was scheduled to have her IUD removed that day. Knowing how anxious Bao already was, Lily chose to wait, not wanting to add more stress before surgery. It's an important detail, because Bao has been struggling with severe PMDD, a condition where her menstrual cycle causes debilitating pain and emotional distress. She's tried multiple treatments and the IUD was supposed to help, but then it didn't, which is why it has to be removed. Bao describes going through some...
What the hell is an IUD? Small T-shaped moisten to prevent pregnancy. There are two main type: copy IUD. Huh? Why would you have this in your body? Side effect: painful menstrual period, headache, irregular and heavy period, fainting. Jesus Christ.
Some very
This continuing PMDD. What's PMDD? Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Severe form of premature. Jesus Christ, I can't even highlight this. Syndrome that can significantly IUDs. That's come on, man. I'm trying to do research here. Common treatment include lifestyle change, medications such as selective serotonin uptake inhibitors. Oh, so the one I'm taking right now. The SSRI is pretty common. It's like a sub all kind of medication. It helps with depression, anxiety, paranoia, stuff like this. Things that spawn from hell. Research these nuts. Come on, man.
difficult moments at the time.
Basically, just have very bad PMS times a million. I'm spend half the month very depressed with a lot of feelings of worthless.
Hold on, hang on a minute. Okay, the video is not. The audio is not.
Sometimes it is so bad that I question whether or not I want to keep living, and I've dealt with that my whole life, and so have a lot of other girls. And I'm glad that when I made my tweet, so many girls spoke to their own experiences. It's very lonely having chronic illnesses.
The surgery was then rescheduled once again, and Bao had to tell Lily a second time that they'd need to postpone their call. Finally, after the procedure, just 48 hours before the Nanoless Google Doc dropped, Bao got on the call with Lily, having no idea what was coming. What she learned went far beyond anything she could have imagined.
It felt like my world exploded in the most purest emotional and physical form I could imagine. I feel like, well, I don't know. I can't even remember what the conversation was like because I was just in such a state of, it was like I'm hearing what Lily and Nano are telling me, but it's like I cannot compute it. I cannot. Sorry, I'm. I just remember seeing the screenshots that just. When Lily told me, I immediately drove to Tara's house, and that's when we had the phone call because I didn't want to be alone. I just remember crying my eyes out on the floor. Just there's nothing more confusing and more painful than seeing someone in your friend group.
Oh no. Is that audible? I know she's crying right now, but like it's raining outside.
Be so kind and so warm to everyone around you, and feeling that they have slowly become colder and colder towards you, and not knowing what you did or if it's your imagination. You don't know if you want to say anything, and so you keep it to yourself, and you keep hoping it's your imagination. But then the cruel realization hits that it wasn't. And it's even more worse than you could have ever imagined. And I keep thinking about how my friends waited for me to come home from the hospital before they told me. And they had to wait on all of that. They sat on that information and had to hold it in for almost a week because they waited for me to be well enough to tell me. And even then, I don't think there was a good time anyway. Why was I even considered a threat at all? I felt like, how could you accuse me of being a thief when I spent 5 hours talking to our editor, telling him and assuring him that I would never stop being his friend even if he took an exclusivity deal with you. It would mean I would only have 2 editors for my channel. And like, that still did not stop me from considering your financial well-being and the success and growth of your channel, and they could not even spare the same thought for me. Like, you do not know how many times I was told to put in my Google Doc the fact that you had a significant other, and no matter how many people told me to put it in, and how stupid I would be to not put it in, I could not bring myself to put it in, because I knew that what that would do to your reputation, and you could not spare that same thought for me. I feel like I was tasked with an impossible choice. And I hated that I had to be in the position where it had to be me to say something or no one else would. And it's not about whether or not I'm right or wrong, but it's the fact that I didn't even want to be in this position to begin with. And I know that for so many people to be affected, that it was the right decision to do. But it really fucking sucks that I had to do it in the first place.
How long does
Bao
this
then
go?
revealed shocking
I was about to say, like, how long was that go for? 5 minutes? God damn. I never seen a VTuber break down like that. Not just a VTuber, it's also, a human being that had to process all of that. And have to do it in public in order to address her side of the story. And it was just cruel. She had her issue. She had, physical issue. She had mental issue. She had to deal with this. And it's not fair. Not fair at all. Wow. How am I supposed to react to that? I've seen you depressed, but never like her. Off screen it was worse. In public, is different. I used to break down all the time in like voice call with my friend. Not to downplay her situation or anything like that. Just from one person to another that have to like face through decision and moments that make you question the relationship with friend and other people. Man, and it's been like that for years. Jesus Christ. I don't watch ball that often, but seeing that, yeah, make me think that it reminds me that there's a person behind the screen, the scene or the screen or whatever. That was fucking awful, man. Doesn't it get easier? It You mean me? I mean, those get easier because I have supportive friend and I take medication. I rarely break down anymore. In fact, I don't even break down when I not lose, but more like I cut ties with two of my friends, which I'm not gonna name, but they were like my long lasting friend. It's been like half a decade, and it feel one sided because the moment I was deemed not important enough, they just ignore me. There are deeper talk about that, and I might be just like a opportunist or whatever, but in truth, it was just timing. I didn't make that public because it was private, but I can say that it was difficult to deal with because I can still feel them being beside me because they were that close to me. I'm the one who cut ties with them, so it's my responsibility, and I made myself accountable for what I did. There's no mending the relationship unless they want to, but considering that it's been months since I've heard from them, from being unfriend with them, I don't think there's any mending. Not at all. I wouldn't like to like say that oh I'm the reason you guys are together and all that, but I was there since the beginning. I want to see you grow. I want to see you happy. But then it become one sided. They just see me as this depressed prick that be an asshole sometimes. Which I always told them that if there's an issue, just tell me. And they would tell me all the time. And then they try to be better, go through rehab and all that. Not rehab, but more like, self therapy in the room, in the house with family and all that. It's not even like actively trying to silence someone or like make some people upset. It's just the weight of silence itself is unbearable. Like we used to be friends, and now you don't consider me to be friend anymore. So I cut ties. I cut those ties because it feel one sided. They're not like sabotaging my career or anything. If any, I pretty much help them build a career they want. I keep them in check. So I understand Bao here, who thought Cinda is a good friend, and then turns out she was not, and Charlie Lee has to tell her all about this, and the others, nonetheless, is also to her it's a direct betrayal because Cinda is admit all kind of thing, but she doesn't take responsibility or like, accountability to what she did. She blamed her ex-boyfriend for that and her managers for that. So I understand her when she said like she needs someone, right? She needs someone to talk to her. She don't want to feel lonely. I feel that. It happened to me before. I felt like I was hanging out with a friend, but I back then I was like seriously ill. And I mean it's not the worst. I recover a little bit. It took me like 5 years to recover, I think. Actually more than 5 years. Yeah, it's about like around 5 years. I felt like I was bullied like all the time, berated and all that. I was a really sensitive person. So when my friend made like harsh joke and I didn't take it so well, I would break down. A true friend would approach you and calm you down, right? And a fake friend, they distance themselves from you. That's what I learned. So when I see the pattern of like people just distancing themselves away from me, I know that they don't want anything from me anymore. You don't think I bully you, right? No, of course not. I've been on medication for 3 years and I've been in self therapy and just like changing my lifestyle. I I play game with Shaggy, I play game with Misky and ADC sometime and we call each other like idiot, cunt, fuckers, all kind of names. And I just feel happy that they can be comfortable to call me that and knowing that I won't get upset. And the same goes to them as well. I can say all kind of thing like that, and that would be fine because we are friends. We're true friend. We're not like trying to compete with each other or like trying to be better. That kind of friendship is rare. You just insult each other like in front of a lot of people, like just viewers, or maybe in like private chat. When you mature like that, I think you just keep riding high. Honestly, if you mature like that. But from my heart, from Cinder and this red guy, this redacted guy, they're really immature. They don't grow. They don't grow up. They don't take responsibility. They don't take accountability. They just thought all this was like a show, or just another day for them. It's gonna take them some time to realize how big of a deal this is. Body maturity is one thing, like age and all that, but mental maturity is something else. I'm not this perfect. I'm not like this cool headed. I'm not this collective, composed, and calm person. I used to be quite erratic, unpredictable, and chaotic. Oh, chaotic is still is still like my character trait. But that's just me being me. I'm just a gremlin. It's raining.
New information about what really happened during Numi's New Year concert and Cinder's role in it. According to Bao, Cinder can't.
Or maybe they thought everyone act like how Cinder and Red did. Yeah, that's trust issue, right? Got to like a video.
Cancelled on Numi at the last minute, backing out of a concert they had been planning together for over half a year. With everything on the line, and although she was in pain, Bao rushed to help her friend, taking a 6-hour flight just to fill in and make sure the show could go on. Bao really is a ride or die friend.
We forgave you when you didn't come to her concert. That you were planning with her for over half a year. I wonder if you knew how devastated she was. And at every single pivotal moment where you had the choice to be a good person and a good friend. You chose not to be. And no matter how many times me and our friends try to wrap our heads around it and try to make sense of it, we can't. We can't, because every single time we come to the realization that that's not what we would do if we cared.
When Numi goes live, however, she gives us additional details about the concert Bao had mentioned during her live stream.
I want to talk about it. It's uncomfortable, but it's something that I always want to do. And there was something that happened between us a couple months ago that I had talked to her about for months, that she agreed to and was super excited about, but any other things that I heard about were not from herself, but from Red. I think people can connect the dots on what happened. If you guys are a Noomba and you were going to a concert, you probably were able to fill in the blanks with what happened. I was not upset about the fact that she couldn't perform, because a lot of the things that come with performing take a lot of, courage to get out on stage, and it's not something that's for everyone, especially if you're a VTuber who's used to being behind the screen. My issue was never with that. My issue was the fact that I never knew how she was feeling. Anything that I was told was from Red. And I just had a bunch of different reasons for why potentially they weren't going to be able to do it. It was very, very close to the date, a week and a half before, when I got told about that. And I think the thing that sucks the most about it was because from her perspective, she was talking about how excited she was. And then it was that same day from him that he said they're not going to do it anymore. And I have my music friend, Holmes, who spent, dozens of hours working on the set list for, me, Office Drummer, to perform. And we put a lot of time and effort into putting this together. And I asked every single month for months and wasn't told about it until it was at a point where we literally couldn't find a replacement. And even after that, I still didn't hear anything about how she actually felt. And I was super sad, obviously. And Bao, even though she wasn't doing good, immediately said she would fly to New York with me and do the concert with me. And she didn't have to, but she did. And I think it's been said many times that how she's my best friend, but she saw me in a state like that, and even though she was hurting, she put all of that aside just to be there for me, and to be there for me when Cinder couldn't even tell me herself how she felt. And I feel so fucking mad.
Yet even after Cinder cancelled on one of the most important dates of her career, Numi would have forgiven her, granted if it was for any other reason than business. But Cinder let her down.
I get a message from her a couple days after my concert saying that she couldn't go because she felt responsibility as I said that the number one thing that I didn't want to hear was if she talked to me, if she put business above her friends. And I would have literally accepted anything else, but the reason that she gave me was putting business above me, over her new position and how she felt obligated to do this, a stream that she said she had to do. And I said, yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. And I think at that point, that's when I kind of felt like my view started to crumble a little bit. Then afterwards, after I didn't reply, sent a message saying maybe they can make it after all. And then getting a message from Red saying she felt really guilty she couldn't go and we want to make it so that we can be there for you. And I think that's what really caused me to want to say something, and I did. And I messaged Cinder and I expressed my disappointment, and she apologized and told me all of the reasons that she should have said instead of bringing up the business.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I forgave her, but I saw that she brought up a collab that she said she couldn't miss, and I didn't believe that, because if there's one person outside of Bao that I know would not put business over me, it's Lily. And I found out that I was lied to and that this was something that could have definitely been changed and didn't have to be on the day of a concert.
We can see here that Numi's concert was dated February 1st, and Cinder's post announcing the collab she ditched the concert for on February 1st as well, so the dates line up. Nevertheless, Numi still believes there was real love between all of them, and at the end of the day, she's mostly just deeply hurt by how it all unfolded. She ends with a line that perfectly captures the heartbreak. I've never seen somebody shine so bright, ruin themselves and the beauty they emitted like that. Now, the next day, Shy Lily went live to express her thoughts on the apology, and she's pissed. She explains that it all started when she found out she was being slandered, learning that Cinder had been making all kinds of accusations to Nanoles behind the scenes, painting her as a problematic and difficult individual to work with.
The actual starting point, the dominoes fell, when one thing leaked. One singular thing, like 5 or so days ago. It was about me being slandered, throwing all kinds of accusations around to Nano, making me seem problematic.
That's when the group realized this wasn't just isolated incidents, but it was a year-long pattern of constant slander.
Those weren't isolated incidences. It was a year-long pattern. Everything connected. It was a pattern that consisted over years.
Lily explains that she was willing to let it rest after Bao and Nano had spoken up and shared their experiences. But then the apology dropped, and the lack of accountability and the fact that she found out she was used as an excuse to let Numi down during her concert made her furious.
For her to claim she has no knowledge when I know for a fact she does, but I have no proof other than hearsay, it reminded me of that one fact, the one receipt we do have though, where she herself personally throws me under the bus, and I made sure to quote her own words, because again, that screenshot isn't public. She'll know what we're talking about. And the fact that she only took accountability for stuff that's been published and not the stuff that was kept hidden says enough for me. To have her use me as part of an excuse as to why she had to let her friend down, that very same friend that spent months of prep, hard work and effort and received a million empty promises, just because a couple days before that she wanted to reschedule a V-Card collab to, you know, make a nice big boom as a collab and sell a bunch of boxes to make some bag. People saying, why didn't you handle it private? We did once. And she's only deflecting and pretending to be apologetic when put on the spot. No proper apology from her before the crash out. None. She's only sorry when she gets caught, because she knows fucking with that friend that she fucked with will mean the end of her career. Because if you're not good standing with that person, you're not good standing with like probably 80% of the indies.
80%.
That mattered to her. She wasn't sorry because she fucked over her friend's opportunity on a day that she said she'll be there. She was sorry she was caught in true narcissistic, selfish, egoistic fashion.
Indeed, quietly cutting ties in a situation like this wouldn't have fixed anything. It wouldn't discredit the lies Cinder had already spread. If anything, it could actually make things worse. Without addressing it publicly, it might reinforce the rumors to others that Cinder had spoken to. People could easily assume, wow, Shy Lily doesn't collab with Cinder anymore and never said why. Something must have happened. And that's exactly why they decided to speak out, to set the record straight and make sure the silence wasn't mistaken for guilt.
The Final
The
day.
Silvervale livestream, however, uncovered what may be the most unsettling part of Cinder's and Red's behavior. She showcased the pattern of bullying and manipulation that stretched back years, seemingly fueled by nothing more than the fact that both she and Cinder were Wolf Girl VTubers. What started as shared team somehow spiraled into a long-standing obsession, one that simmered behind the scenes, completely unbeknownst to
The storm is
Silvervale
approaching.
herself.
I had no idea how much I was dealing with, you know? Like, I just thought I was really unlucky. Or that people just didn't like me. You know? And to find out that, like, I've been, like, systematically being torn down for years. Yeah, I don't like drama. I don't want to be in it. I did not want to make that doc. I did not want to put it out. I was really asked if I wanted my name censored, and I wanted it censored so that people wouldn't know that it was me. But when I went back and looked at the doc or the pictures about everything that happened, and I went back to my messages with her, and I saw that one where she was so excited that we shared art. And we shared a model, and I didn't think anything of it at all. And then I saw the fucking timestamp on it, and I just couldn't take it, man. It was so fucked up. It was so vile and cruel and malicious for no reason. Like knowing the background behind it, I just really felt like I had to say it because I feel like that was an important other aspect of what was going on because I didn't know her. I wasn't her friend. I was just someone that she beat down progressively over years for no reason.
Silvervale then describes a really weird and somewhat controlling situation that happened with Cinder in the past.
She had this fan art of me and her, and she made a ship tag, Cindervale. She's the one that came up with that art tag.
Yeah,
And
that's
she
delusional.
talked about how close our designs were, and that she wanted to be wolf girls together. And it was so strange because I didn't know this person. Like she just came out of nowhere, and the art was sweet, but I didn't want to retweet that. Like I don't want to push a ship tag.
Following this, Cinder actually reached out to Yoshi, Silver Model Mama, to ask why Silvervale's real mom didn't retweet a piece of fan art.
And what was really weird is, so my mom retweets tons of art of me, and she's amazing. I love her so much. And she didn't retweet that one. So Cinder's manager messaged Yoshi. I don't know why they messaged Yoshi. Maybe because they didn't want to message my mom. But they messaged Yoshi asking why my mom didn't retweet the art. Which is such a weird thing to do. Like, what?
That's creepy as hell.
So that was the first thing in a whole slew.
It's like if I go to this and I was like, oh hey Rick, you know, Ruga like, hey man, like, you wanna collab, and then they have like a picture of me, right, just next to the model, something. I mean, we did talk a little bit, but we didn't really like talk deep about it. All the best. Indies gotta stick together, but not in that tactic, not in that way. That's just feel inconsiderate, disingenuous as well. Like if you want to collab, you just gotta grow and just it takes process. to collab with someone, not just like jumping to the channel. Just and I'm like, Ruga, why didn't you grandma retweet the collab tweet? Yeah, exactly. Oh hey, Ruga, I made like a ship image. I commissioned an artist to make a ship of us. Why did you like to retweet it? Why did your mom didn't retweet it? My mom retweeted it. And she doesn't even use Twitter. Why are you not doing that? It would be like that. Geez, he got a lot of links. 7,000 views, not bad. Inspiring producer, artist, Mama, Inly, and all the best. Have a great day. Reincarnates girl. So I guess I refer Ruka as a she. She just stream like peak. Oh no, repo, not peak. It's peak in the thumbnail. Oh, yeah, she play peak as well. And there's this VR chat thing that I would often sleep before okay. It's kind of confusing, so I'm just gonna refer them as they. But yeah, they also love this stream, and I couldn't caught up to it because by the time they live, I can't just sleep. Anyway,
of things where it really just felt like this person does not care about me and is not genuine, and I don't want to deal with it.
Silverville then elaborated on the whole meet and greet photo situation, clarifying that at conventions, it's generally expected that pictures will be taken of you. That's part of the experience. But what
next
caught
friendship
her
come
off
around.
wasn't the photo
Oh,
itself.
next
It
friends
was
love.
how
I'm
Cinder
sorry.
posted it, framing it like they were close when in reality they'd barely spoken.
The fact that it was like a candid picture from far away at the perfect angle to make it look good, and then insinuate that we were closer, like wolf girls together, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know you. I want you to leave me alone. Like, leave me alone.
I don't even know who you are.
And that's the reason I
Thanos.
haven't done any meet and greets
Literally that.
since then. Because I've been so scared. I know it's really, really fucked up and stupid, but I didn't want to deal with it again because you were trapped. And I could never say anything because, like, if you talk about how someone gives you weird vibes, like, then you just come off like petty or something. But like, she made me so fucking uncomfortable constantly. She just wouldn't leave me alone. And I don't understand why she was so obsessed. Like, I'm sure there were other people that didn't talk to her. Why did it matter so much that I didn't? And like, she kept making this claim that her actions towards me were like fueled by how often she saw us compared. A comparison that she originally even made with that fan art. So I don't know why she was surprised. If you are the one that pushed that in the first place, like, you were just like a color swap of me, and you said that. You literally said, look, we're opposites. We're so cute. Like, why are you surprised? And I heard these same comparisons all the time, too. All the fucking time. Constantly. I saw them in chat. I saw them in Discord. I saw them on Twitter. But I would never do this. Like, if just being compared to me is the reason that you go around telling everyone that like I hate you and you slander me, like, when I saw this thing, sure, I get fucking sad. Like, how can you not get sad when people are calling this other person the better version of you, and always asking, like, why don't you collab with so and so? You're so much alike. Oh, you remind me so much of blah blah blah. Like, I get sad, but I just think about how I could do better and put my little fucking horse blinders on and, like, be in my little bubble and do my own shit. Like, I would just focus on playing games and making memories with my chat and be the best version of me that I could be. Like, I focus on enjoying my streams and the career that I'm incredibly lucky to have. I would never lash out and try to ruin someone's career. Like, people get compared all the time, but no one fucking does this. This is insane.
But then came another shocking revelation. After releasing her document,
Dismal.
Silvervale was contacted by several artists who
Dear
admitted
God.
they had cancelled
Dismal.
projects with her
No.
because they believed the lie Cinder had been spreading behind the scenes. This moment really crystallized exactly why going public was necessary. Like the others, Silvervale had no idea who Cinder had spoken to or how far the damage had spread. She had feared this would happen, and now she had proof it already had. In that light, putting out a Google Doc wasn't drama, it was damage control. It was the only logical move left.
And I guess I'm really glad that I put that part in there about worrying that she had been saying things about me, because that was true, apparently. They told me that she had told them that I hated her and I was this malicious person and that I was so mean and I just hated her so much. Like, usually conveniently right after doing a project or an art piece or something with me that got traction, and she didn't like it. And they told me that hearing that made them less inclined to work with me again, because they think I'm this evil, terrible person. Because why would she say that if it wasn't true? Like, why would you lie about someone? And that happened so much. Like, it wasn't just Nana, it was so many other people. And like, I wish someone would have told me if this was going on for so long. But you don't think that someone's gonna lie to you, right? Like I understand.
Yeah, no one is just
why
gonna like
people didn't tell
lie
me.
the ass off
If
every
you
single
think
day
that
like
I'm,
that. Normal
like,
people
this
don't do
evil
that.
person that just hates everyone. Like,
Silvervale then shares how she had been excited for an Oblivion team model that was going to be made by the artist Limebreaker, but out of nowhere, the artist suddenly became unavailable, saying they'd taken on a large commission. Silver strongly implies that Cinder was behind it. Yet, another moment where a promising project was quietly derailed.
but even like, I was so excited for the Oblivion launch, and I was like, I want to get another model from Limebreaker, just like my Fallout one that's interactive and swaps weapons, and like we collect stuff over time, and that'll be so cool. And then Lime has a big commission and he can't do it, and then guess who that commission's for? Like, I wasn't someone she interacted with on the daily like her friends. Like, I was no one. Like, why did you have to step on me?
Now you might think, surely this situation is over now. But
Oh,
wait,
please.
there's more.
There's
'Cause
more,
then came
of course.
another Google document, this time from the artist Nixu. If you've been in the VTuber or fan art space, you've likely seen her work. She's known for her gorgeous, ethereal-looking illustrations that seem to glow off the screen. She's instantly recognizable and deeply admired. But in this case,
It's a
her
real
post
art, holy
wasn't to
shit.
share new art. It was to share an experience one meant to
People
warn
would
other
call that
artists
fucking
about
shit
valuing
AI,
their
man.
work and
Like,
setting clear
come on.
professional boundaries.
Looks so
The
good.
only attention I want is from people enjoying my work, she writes. Nixu explains that due to long-standing visibility issues and shadow banned main account, she had created a collaboration
Visibility.
system for her new Twitter account. She would
Visibility.
offer free art to VTubers she admired in exchange for Patreon shoutout. A simple visibility for value trade. You get a free
Visibility.
artwork with commercial rights, and they get a shoutout.
I agree with
One
his
of the creators
visibility.
she reached out to
Yeah,
was
visibility,
Cinder.
I mean.
At first, the exchange seemed promising. Red responded on Cinder's behalf, confirmed interest, and agreed to the conditions multiple times, including the Patreon credit, and even a not safe for work variant for Cinder's Fansly. Excited and hopeful, Nixu streamed the process, tested compositions, and put weeks of work into the piece. But partway through, something changed. After reiterating the agreement a third time, the tone of the responses shifted. Eventually, Red messaged her and said, "Nix, I spoke to Cinder, and there must have been a miscommunication on my part somewhere. She's okay with retweeting and commenting on your art when you post it, but is afraid it'll be viewed as unfair to other artists who draw her if she showcases the art and your Patreon. So she's okay with forfeiting the commercial rights and ability to post it that you've offered." But to Nixu, that was devastating news. The Patreon visibility was the entire reason she offered the art for free. She had emphasized those terms repeatedly, and they had agreed every single time. Pulling out at the last second from the one thing that made the deal worthwhile left her feeling heartbroken. After reiterating her conditions, Redacted responded saying they will likely be able to fulfill their end of the deal as originally planned. She then finished the piece and sent over all the deliverables. On stream, Cinder briefly showcased the art, but made no direct mention of Nixu's Patreon, despite that being a clearly agreed upon part of their deal, and something Red had reconfirmed earlier. Instead, she only vaguely insinuates that they can check out the silver letters at the bottom of the art. The word Patreon is in fact never even spoken. It was like she was afraid to say it.
This super pretty art piece is by Nix on Twitter. Nixu Art is their at on Twitter. But yeah, it's so pretty, and I'm actually gonna be retweeting it on Twitter right now, so you guys can also head over to my Twitter to see it if you wanna check out her Twitter. And there's some silly little letters on the bottom of the image. For other things that you can see from this art, and to support Nix and check out all the other cool stuff that they got going on over there.
She also didn't show the censored, not safe for work art variant that Nixu had done, which was meant to generate interest in the uncensored version and drive traffic to Nixu's Patreon and Cinder's Fansly. Instead, she made a vague gesture
that's missed
toward the
opportunity
art
for
and
the
told
business right
viewers
there.
they could
You just
find
hold
the
on a
artist through
monopoly
an old
for
art retweet.
this.
Yes, she showed my art, but there's a big difference between showing it and honoring the deal. The worst part, Nixu streamed the process with her fans watching and cheering her on, all while pretending to be happy, even though she was falling apart inside. She ends her document with one request. An artist is a person too. Please treat your artist well, honor your professional deals, and respect people around you. And that's where we're at. A community once built on friendship, passion, and trust, undone by backdoor sabotage, manipulation, and lies whispered in the name of business. Perhaps if Cinder hadn't built her entire brand around being a wholesome, supportive, good vibes only VTuber,
Jesse, we gotta do business.
But
You gotta open up the bank.
The image she projected and the person revealed
Jesse, where you going? Yes, Jesse.
was just too great. It left her community shaken.
No, Jesse, that was on a business. Don't look at that. Don't agree to that.
This wasn't just one mistake. It was a pattern. And every time Cinder had a chance to throw...
Don't shout out the Patreon, Jesse.
In the end, Cinders didn't just lose her friends. She lost the trust of an entire industry. And to think Neurosama predicted this months ago? It's almost scary. Like, Skynet scary.
Do you have many friends?
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends.
They're not just acquaintances, right?
Thank you so much for watching.
Oh,
That's
that
all
clip.
I got for
Okay.
you guys today. And thank you to everyone who helped put this together, especially the folks in my Discord. If you want to join the community, we're over at discord.gg/Rima, and it's honestly turning into a really supportive little space. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and check out my Patreon for more deep dives, bonus content, and to help support the channel directly. Plus, if you subscribe, you get to see every video in advance, and you get to have your name immortalized in my bloopers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Nonetheless was originally set to... Dog, go into Kirby bed. Good boy. Script without credit. Rain's document isn't about plagiarism. It's a. I'm losing my voice. What's going on? The coffee won't help.
Yeah, the coffee won't help. You gotta drink beer. Doing long commentary like this.
When he was already a known ASMR creator. At the time, his ASMR channel was bigger than her. Was bigger. At the time, his does not care what happens to the people she springboards off from. She springboards off from. Yes. She's an opportunist and Cinder's Fansly. Instead, she made a vague. Oh shit. My VTuber died. Hold up.
If that's her blooper, my blooper is much longer. I gotta go eat later, shan't I? Good day. Well, perfect. The video ended. Alright, I think that's one video enough. Oh, we watched that for 2 hours. Goddamn. Alright, I might see you in the morning. I might see you in the morning. That was a good watch. Make me wanna think about rearrange, maybe design a character with like an artist first. Next year though, because I haven't made enough money yet. Alright, thanks for coming. I didn't react as much because I generally just get like immersed into that kind of thing. But when I do pause and talk about it, I do mean it. Oh, the situation was very. I don't. I mean, I do get it because from one person that know how to social engineering an environment against other people or for your own benefit, I do it because of survival, really, and I don't plan to damage anyone that I come in part with. So in a way, I do like I do get why people do stuff like that, but I still like at the same time I don't get it, because if you're being transparent and being genuine and being like just being good person in general, you're not gonna lose anything. You just you just keep being you. But if the real you is the kind of person that is putting business over friendship and genuine relationship like that, it's like self-destructive thing. It's like you're smoking or like you drunk driving. You know exactly what is gonna happen, and then you just let it happen. It's like some people in the world are so charming, is so inspiring and influential, and in that case, it's just come off to me as like rub me the wrong way because people would kill for that kind of position and skill. But no, you have to ruin it. If you want business over friend, you do know like do you realize that the way to make money is to collab, especially as indie VTuber? And I mean, she did collab with Shy Lily, right? And like throw her under the bus. But if building a friendship, that's a different thing. Building a friendship means building trust. And the more trust you have with someone, the more likely they would do anything just for you because you are that, important to them. I can say this because I have a friend. It's Shaggy really. Jerry, for anyone who watched the channel. Jerry or Shaggy has been a really good friend of mine. We might not play too many games. We might not hang out that often because we're busy with our life and all that. But we're still a friend. And when I don't have money to eat, to like spend on the necessities, I would say he doesn't always do like help me, but he trusts me enough with the money that he is willing to help me out. That's the kind of friendship you need, not the one that like, oh, we are on stream, we are opening card pack, and we're gonna sell them. No, 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 not like that. It's bonding with your friend, and then take to another step where you can call it a business. So friend first, business later, not business first and then friend later. That's not how it works. That is not the chemistry that you should mix. And I'm not telling this to like, oh, you have to fool your friend in order to make business. No, you have to bond with them. You have to be respectful. You have to love them as a human being, another human being that is not just a number on the planet, not just a digit on the planet. Not someone who can just who you can milk and just run away. If I were Cinder, or Cinder were to be me, she probably would have keep my friend, Shaggy, as something that like what's the word for it? I can't think of a word for it, but like she would like easily she would throw him under the bus when some shit happened. It's pretty easy to see that, to imagine that even. But if it's just me, right? It's just my opinion on Jackie. Jackie's not going anywhere. Jackie is not gonna just disappear one day. I'm not gonna say like, oh, Jackie is not my friend anymore. We still keep in contract with each other, and that's important. And by the time I become like big VTuber, I might not need his help anymore. But in a way, I probably pay his pay him in debt that he supported me thus far. Because without him, I wouldn't be here, and without him, I wouldn't be anywhere. It's not a reliance per se. It's trust with the money, trust with the goal that you want to reach, trust with the fact that you're gonna make it all back, trust that one day you're gonna stand up on your own and doesn't have to rely on them forever. That kind of trust is invaluable. It worth more than anything in the world. That kind of trust and freedom allows me to do this kind of thing where I can eat and sleep easily, knowing that maybe I have debt and all that, but I still got friends that back me up. Man, I I think that's all I want to say. Such a weird thing. Putting business above friend or before friend is such a stupid like way of making deals. If you're gonna make a deal, you put friend first, friend or benefactors. You consider it the position and the offer, and you don't just take it for granted, right? You take it with your heart. You take it and you thank them, and then you show it to them that oh, you use this for this for that. Thanks for the support, something like that. Even if they're not your fans, they're not your audience. Or maybe he is in the chat right now. I don't know. He could be a streamer. I actually offer him to be like, oh, you could stream or something like that. But he was like, no, it's not his style. But we have a really like good chemistry. When I watched him playing Persona 4 Golden the other day, which was yesterday really, and we had fun actually. Actually, it was the other day. Yeah, the other day. He's such a good like. It's so easy for him to be funny, even though he have to like yap a lot. He talks a lot, but that's something that is so rare in not rare, but I would say that it's something hard to master. And then there's also the green shirt dude, which ADC probably in the chat right now, hearing me talk about all this. He's also a YouTuber. And there's Misky, who I don't know if he's gonna do some YouTube stuff or not, but I did tell him that if he play game and record, he might as well just make content about it. Surrounding your friend, surrounding yourself with friends that support you and understand you and love you for who you are, that is the priority, not business. Business can come later, always. Business can come later. Unless the business is say close to bankrupt and you're the only one who can fix it. That's the only reason you could conduct a business before a friend. If it's that urgent, then yeah, you can do business. But if your friend wants you to be there with them, just be there with them. You will thank yourself in the future. You thank your past self. You build a foundation with people that you trust. That's what makes us human. Damn, I didn't expect to go full philosophical about that, but I did because I'm just fascinated by that topic. Watching an hour and a half of this is just opening all my eyes to see what kind of people that exist in it as well, especially in the indie side of VTuber. You can't do that as a corporate VTuber, can you? I mean, you can, but I can't think of an example for that. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I'll see you in the morning if I can. I should be able to get up in the morning and stream in the morning. We just have to wait and see. All right, I'll be seeing you in the morning.